Hi, welcome to see our videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are taking a look at the NHL card for April 6th right now with SBR hockey handicapper Dana Lane. Dana Lane, thanks for being with us. We just got 3 games on the cards. We can look at them a little in depth. We got one game that means absolutely nothing, one game with huge playoff implications, and then another game with possibly an emotional factor that will contribute to a handicapping edge, although I got massively burned with that one. That is Edmonton playing at home, their final home game in Rexall Place. But we discussed their game against Calgary, where I said I liked Edmonton. Of course, they got blown out 5-0 in that one. Let's start with Columbus and Toronto. Both teams are terrible, playing out the string. The line is competitive. Is there any way to bet this with any kind of value? Maybe just a simple under 5.5. Even that one might just be too random, right?
Yeah, of the 3, Pete, this is definitely the most difficult for me, and I wouldn't recommend going out and putting a large percentage of your bankroll on this because, as you said, both of these teams are playing out the string. You're not really sure what you're going to get. But I do love the fact that, we still see Tortorella kind of playing with his lines a little bit, sending messages to his team. We saw Hartnell, who is a 12-year NHL veteran, get sat down the other night after scoring only 1 goal in his last 10 games. So I really think that you're still getting an honest effort out of Columbus. I just don't think that they're a very good team. What we're going to look for in this is definitely on the Columbus side. The line opened at minus $1.04. You're getting even money right now. Maybe even before the puck drops, you'll get some plus money on this. And look, when we look at both of these teams, I love to look at which team comes out with a lot of fight, which team is a better first period team. And certainly to me, Columbus is by far a better first period team. In fact, they're in the upper tier of teams in the league in first period scoring, where Toronto is dead last. So I think Columbus is going to come out. I think you'll get a 1 or 2 goal lead early, and then I think that they'll hang on to this game.
Wow, nice angle. So maybe Columbus on their first period line might actually be a good bet. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely looked at that. I'm not getting any value as far as the first period is concerned. There's not a lot of movement. I like to kind of be on the side or the right side of the movement.
Right.
And this is such a difficult game because even if you go on the puck line, or if you go on the total, or even the first period line, there's just not a lot of movement, and basically there's no interest in the game, so you're not getting a lot of movement. But certainly of these 2 teams, Columbus, to me, is the better of the 2.
All right, sounds good. And then let's talk about Vancouver, Edmonton. Both bad teams, although Vancouver has won 3 in a row each time as a huge underdog. They're a big underdog here. Edmonton, supposedly there was a big emotional situation with their last home game against Calgary, and they got blown out there. Maybe they just don't have the talent right now to be justified as a minus 150 to minus 160 favorite against anyone, although their last win at home was against Vancouver when they were a minus 150 favorite. Low-scoring game in mid-March. And also, all 3 of the games that they've played this year have been very low scoring. All 3 went to, I think, 2 at most in regulation. So maybe a shot with the under 5, although because of the atmosphere, maybe there will be some unexpectedly high scoring early or late. What's your take on Vancouver, Edmonton?
Well, we're even going to condense it down a little bit more. I like where you're going with that, Pete, but we're going to condense it down to the first period. I mean, both of these teams, Vancouver is 29th in total offense. Edmonton is 27th in total offense. Yeah. If you even break it down to first period scoring, both teams are 18th and 19th respectively. And the fact of the matter is, I just don't see either of these teams, like you talked about. Edmonton, complete uninspired effort in their last game against Calgary. I don't see where they're going to all of a sudden find that inspiration against Vancouver, who's been playing extremely well. And then you couple that with the fact that all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but Ryan Miller's been playing pretty well all year. But really, I think he's starting to, now he's getting some support in front of him. Now his numbers are really starting to blossom. And in his last 2 games, his save percentage is up around 95%, where you want your goaltender's save percentage to be in that high 92, low 93 range. And certainly, I think Ryan has been playing a lot better as of late. So coupled with the fact that neither of these teams are very good offensively, and Ryan Miller is starting to really play the way we know Ryan Miller to be as a goaltender. This to me looks like a under 1.5 in the first period, and you're getting a little bit of value with that at minus $1.35.
Okay, sounds good. And then we have Philly-Detroit, the opposite of the Columbus-Toronto game, a game with huge playoff implications. Again, a competitive line. Detroit's about minus 120-ish market wide, and the total is about 5 with a big underdog line for the under. The over is about 140 or so. Again, these lines look pretty dead on to me. Is there any way that you think might have value betting Philly-Detroit?
Yeah, again, we're going to go to that first period again. I have a tendency a lot of times when both teams need these games and they come out a little bit slow because they're trying to feel each other out. And both of these goaltenders now, you couldn't always say that about Jimmy Howard all year, but both of these goaltenders are really on top of their game. In fact, Howard has not allowed 2 goals or more in his last 4 games, and Steve Mason is even better. Outside of the 5 goals that he allowed against the Pittsburgh Penguins, he hadn't allowed more than 2 goals in 7 straight games. So both of these goaltenders are on top of their games. The first period scored, Detroit is 25th. Philadelphia is 29th in first period scoring. You're getting good value with that first period as you were in the previous game. Again, open at minus 40. It's down to minus $1.35. Neither team is very good offensively. Huge implications for the playoffs in this one. And I like this first period to go under at minus $1.35.
All right, sounds good. I think we've identified some value based on our discussions here. I would probably say that my personal favorite out of all these would be the Vancouver-Edmonton first period under. If I had to pin you down on one play that you would say is your favorite out of these 3 games, what would it be?
I'll go with Philadelphia and Detroit in that 1.5 under in the first period.
Okay, you like that one a little bit more than Vancouver-Edmonton? Why is that? Just curious.
Well, it's pretty even. I really try not to put too much emphasis on any one play.
Right,
and in
right,
fact,
right, of course.
I would de-emphasize before I would emphasize one play.
Right, absolutely.
Because if I'm going to give a play out to clients and give it out with any, I want to make sure that I give it out with a little bit of confidence. So
absolutely.
I would either say no, nothing, or give a play out.
Right. The edges in hockey tend to be relatively small and relatively similar from game to game that do have edges. Dana Lane, thanks so much for your thoughts on these 3 games. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Pete.